This presentation will cover business resources found on LexisNexis Academic. On the default page, which is the Easy Search page, on the second row, in the middle box on the second row, it reads, Get Company Information. Just so you know, this particular box is searching Company Dossier. And Company Dossier covers over 80 million companies, publicly traded, privately held companies, domestic, foreign, international. You may search Company Dossier by a name or by a ticker symbol. I'm going to use both of those features. I'm going to start first with by name, and I'm simply going to type in Sony. I'm going to click on my blue box that reads Go. I'm going to click on this hypertext link for Sony Corporation. And what's great about Company Dossier is that in one click, the system will automatically conduct over 50 different searches for you. It's going to go out and gather all the information it can find on that company. Everything from news information to the company hierarchy to financial information to legal information. What I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with the default page, which is known as the snapshot. And quickly and easily, I know that Sony Corporation is publicly traded. I see the ticker symbol. I see the stock exchange that it's on. Over to the right, I see stock information. And what's great about this stock information is that you can customize this information if you want to. So if I scroll down just a little, I will see a hypertext link that reads Custom Charts. If I click on that hypertext link, this will allow me to customize that stock information. And just so you know, the date ranges that are available: 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and all. I want to see this information year to date. I'm going to click on my red box that reads Get Chart. And this will chart the financial information, the stock information, year to date. At this time, I'm going to go back to my snapshot, to my overview. And you will see that the system went out and found such information as the industry classification codes, a business description. As I start to page down, I will see additional information such as the auditor, yearly financial information, top executive information on those top executives, the board of directors. And just so you know, if I want to get information on any of these top executives, all you have to do is click on that top executive's name, which I will do a little later. But what's great is all of the additional information that's on the left side. So if I want to see any recent articles, newspaper, news information on Sony Corporation, I'm just going to click on Current News. And this will go out and retrieve any current news articles involving Sony Corporation. And the most recent document that the system retrieved is as of October 12th. I'm going to click on the box in front of executives. And this will allow me to get information on executives, such as their name, title, and here you see you have an email address. The company hierarchy. This would get you the company corporate hierarchy. Who owns whom? So anytime I see a box with a plus sign, that means that I can expand, and this will allow me to get the true company corporate hierarchy for Sony. And just so you know, if you want to get information on any of these divisions, subsidiaries, joint ventures, they're hypertext links. All you have to do is click on that hypertext link, and in one click, just like we saw before, the system will go out and gather all the information it can find on that division, subsidiary, joint venture. I'm going to click on the back button to go back to Sony Corporation, and you will see that you have financial information. You can find information on mergers and acquisitions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Financial Overview, and this will go out and retrieve recent financial information on Sony, such as assets, liabilities, income, and one of the great features you have is the capability to download this information to a wonderful Excel spreadsheet. And by downloading this information to a wonderful Excel spreadsheet, you know you can manipulate the information. Cash flow. But another great piece of information, ratio analysis. If I want to get information on mergers and acquisitions, I'm going to click on that box with the plus sign so that it will expand, and I'm going to click on mergers. And this will go out and retrieve information about mergers that Sony has been involved in. So here we see the target company. Sony is the buyer, and we see who the seller is. And as I start to page down, I would get information about that, but this is actually an acquisition. Case law. This will allow me to go out and find recent case law that involves Sony. And you will see I have case law from different jurisdictions. The United States, the UK. I'm going to click on recent United States cases. This will go out and find recent United States cases that involve Sony. And then also intellectual property information. You can go out and get information concerning patents and trademarks. What's great about Company Dossier is that in one click, the system is automatically going out and gathering all the information it can find on that company for you. It's putting this information into a nice, pretty package. But you as the researcher, you may want to know or need to know, well, where did we get that business description from? Where did we get the yearly financial information from? Underneath the snippet of information, we would tell you the source that we retrieve the information from. And just so you know, the source is a hypertext link. If I click on that hypertext link, this will take me to the full text document where we pull that business description from. So be aware that underneath the snippet of information, you will see the source that we retrieve that information from, but that source will also be a hypertext link, so you can link to the full text document that we retrieve that information from. As I indicated before, if you want to get information on any of these top executives, their names are hypertext links. All you have to do is click on that hypertext link, and this will allow you to do a search on that executive. So you can go out and retrieve information on those executives. So here we see nice highlights of his life, his professional career. I'm going to go back to my default page, my home page. And I'm going to use, once again, search that middle box on the second row. But this time I'm going to search by a ticker symbol. I'm going to type in my ticker symbol. Click on my blue box that reads Go. And you will see that the system retrieved two companies because both of these companies, they share the same ticker symbol. But I'm going to open up the one for the Arab National Bank. And once again, the system's going to go out and it's going to gather all the information it can find on that company. One of the things I want to point out is that the default currency for the financial information will always be U.S. dollars. But if you would like to change this currency to change this information to a different currency, you have that capability where it reads currency. I'm going to click on that little blue down arrow, and this will allow me to change it to a different currency. And I'm going to select the euro. So now the financial information will be in the euro as opposed to the U.S. dollar. I'm going to go back to my home page, my default page. And on the left side, you're going to see a box that reads International Companies. I'm going to click on that International Companies so that that box will expand. And you're going to notice we have a number of different options. We can find a company, create a company list, compare companies, and then we also have company profiles. I'm going to click on that Find a Company. And this will allow me to go out and find information on a company a number of different ways. Just as we saw before, if I typed in Sony, clicked on my Find, and here I see my Sony Corporation, and we see all that great information that we saw once before. I'm going to edit my search. And now I'm going to use a ticker symbol. I'm going to type in, once again, that 1080. Click on my red box that reads Find. And as you will see here, the system retrieved those two companies that we saw before. I'm going to edit my search. And I'm going to use that search by ticker symbol once again. And this time I'm going to type in the ticker symbol, CARR, and click on my Find. And once again, the system will go out and it will gather all the information it can find on this company for us. And once again, on the left side, we can get current news stories, the company hierarchy, financial information, find out intellectual property. I'm going to click on my Edit Search. But one of the things that I want you to be aware of is that it is not necessary to know the company name or the ticker symbol. These are your different options. So if I wanted to, what I'm going to say right now is I want to find all of the publicly traded companies in a particular country. I'm going to select Saudi Arabia. I can type in a city. And now I'm going to click on my Find. And what you're going to notice is the system found 43 companies. I'm going to click on this blue box that reads View All Companies so I can get a complete list. And once again, if I want to get information on any of these companies, just click on the hypertext link for the name, and the system will go out and gather all the information it can find on that company for you. I'm going to do a new search. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Create a Company List. Now, essentially, that's what I did 5 seconds ago. I created a company list by selecting all public companies, a particular country, and a particular city. But to create a company list will allow you to get more specific. This will allow you to find or create a list of companies based on not only the type of company that you're looking for, but let's say that company you want to determine sales or revenues. The company must make at least $10 million or $100 million, or that company must have a certain number of employees. You can also specify an industry classification code. So if you know that you want that company to be within a particular industry, you can also search the business description. If you know an executive's name, a subsidiary. But what is wonderful is the geographic restrictions. You can create a list of companies all the way down to a region or country, state or province, if you're doing North America, cities, postal code, area code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all private. I'm going to put in that the company must have a certain number of employees. So my from box, I'm going to leave blank, and my to box, I'm going to put in 500. I want to specify an industry. So I'm going to click on my hypertext link for SIC code. Now I want you to be aware that you have two options. Option 1 is find, and option 2 is explore. I'm going to go with option 1, find, and I'm going to type in sports and click on the red box that reads find, and the system will go and find those industry classification codes with sports in that industry classification code. I'm going to go ahead, and just so you know, they're already checked for me. They're already tagged for me. So I'm going to say OK, and the system will paste those industry classification codes in the box. And now I can create my own geographic restrictions. And just so you know, if you would like to search multiple countries at once, you may. So if I wanted to, I could say right now just Italy. But if I wanted to do Italy and Saudi Arabia, I could do that. And click on my OK. And I can put in multiple cities, simply typing a comma between my cities. So if I wanted to, I could also put in Turkey. So this will allow you to do multiple countries, multiple geographical areas. But I'm going to limit just to Italy. And just to Rome. I'm going to click on my Create, and you will see that the system retrieved 699 companies. At this time, I only see my first 10 companies. So I need to go out and retrieve the other 689 companies. Over here to the right, you see a box that reads Customize List. I'm going to click on that Customize List. And at this time, I can request additional information. If I wanted to, I could change the sorting. I'm going to change the sorting. I'm going to change the sorting to sort by number of employees. And I'm going to click on my Update Company List, the box that reads Update Company List. And now I will see a list of all 699 companies. And just be aware, if you want to, you may download this information into a wonderful Excel spreadsheet. What I'm going to do now is Click on the hypertext link for the name of the company. And once again, in one click, the system will go out and gather all the information it can find on that company for us. I'm going to go back to my tab for company. And then I'm going to click on the tab that reads Compare Companies. And this will allow you to compare financial information up to 5 companies. And like I said, this will allow you to compare their balance sheets, income statements, ratio information, but it must be a company that's found on one of the U.S. stock exchanges. So just so you know, you may type in a ticker symbol or the name of the company. So I'm going to type in GM, which is the ticker symbol for General Motors, which is a car company in the United States. And then I'm going to do Toyota. And I'm going to click on my Compare, the red box that reads Compare. And because the system found several companies with the name Toyota, it's going to say, well, which Toyota do you want? I want, of course, Toyota Motor Corporation. I'm going to click on my OK. And this will compare the financial information of these 2 companies. Now, please be aware that the order that you type the companies in, the order that you type the company information in, will be the order that the system will be making the comparison. And once again, this information is one is in U.S. dollars, and one is in the Japanese yen. And once again, if I would like to change this to the euro, I may. Now, both companies' information is in the euro. I want to go back to that create a company list, because once again, please be aware that the default for financial information will always be U.S. dollars. But from the initial page, you may always change it to the British pound. But please be aware that once you have created a company list, and I'm just going to do that search that I did before, which was all private, number of employees up to 500, my SIC code, sports, click on my OK, the country, Italy, city, Rome, create. But once you're in a document, please be aware that if we have financial information, I'm going to sort by number of employees and go and get the whole 699. Once you're inside of a record, if you have financial information and you wish to change that information from U.S. dollars to another currency, you may. So here, if I want to see this information in the British pound as opposed to the U.S. dollar, I've changed it now to the British pound. I'm going to go back to my default page, and I'm going to go back to international companies and click on that box so that it will expand. And now what I'm going to do is click on company profiles. And company profiles will allow you to search, if you would like, to search numerous company resources at once, or you can pick and choose. So if I only want to search Hoover's, which is a great business resource, I may. Or maybe I would like to search Hoover's in Morningstar, which is another great business publication I made. But I'm going to search all company information. And just so you know, you can do a full text keyword search, which is everywhere. But in the pull down, we will allow you to do what we call a segment search, a field search. So if you know the name of the company, I'm going to select name, and I'm going to type in my Arab, National Bank, and click on my search. And just be aware that on the left side, you're going to see what we call clustering. This will allow you to manipulate your documents based on different categories, based on different types of information. So where we see company analyst reports, if I click on that box with the plus sign, this will expand, and you will see that we have 4 documents from BMI. If I click on that hypertext link, this will allow me to go out and retrieve just those 4 documents. I'm going to open up my first document. And here I have that report. Now this report, of course, right now is in English, but I want to point out a great feature. And that feature is over on the left, Google Translate. And what Google Translate will allow you to do is to translate this document into over 70 different languages. So if I would like to translate this document into Arabic, I'm going to select Arabic, and now this document is in Arabic. If I want to, I can translate this document into Italian, and now my document is in Italian. If I want to, I can also translate this document into Turkish. And now the document is in Turkish. I'm going to take it back to the show original, which is in English. And I also want you to be aware that on the right are your delivery options. Just so you know, you may send your documents to a printer. You may email. The diskette you may download. But the last one, which is that little cloud with the green arrow, this will allow you to deliver your documents to a cloud, store documents to a cloud. And currently the system works with Dropbox and Google Drive. And the clipboard with the paper clip will allow you to create what we call a permanent doable URL. So if you wanted to share this document with your classmates, with your colleagues, just follow the instructions, and this will allow you to create what we call permalinking, which is a permanent doable URL. So if you send them that URL, they could just simply click on it, and it would take them right here to the full text of this document. I'm going to do a new search. And I want you to be aware that you can also search by ticker symbol. So I'm going to type in my ticker symbol and click on search. And once again, over here on the left, we have our nice clustering. So if I want to see mergers and acquisitions reports, and this will allow us to see those mergers and acquisitions. And once again, you can translate this document to different languages. So, as I did before, if I wanted to read this document in Arabic, it is now in Arabic. If I wanted to translate this document into Italian, it is now in Italian. Turkish. But once again, Don't forget about your delivery options and the fact that you can now store information, send information to a cloud. I'm going to go to my home page, my default page, and I want you to be aware that on this product you have over 15,000 sources, and we cannot put every single source on a search form. So over on the left you're going to see a blue box that reads Sources. I'm going to click on Sources so that it will expand. And we give you two ways to take a look at your sources, the Browse and the Find. I'm going to click on the Browse Sources. And in terms of browsing the sources, one of the options you have I'm going to take it back to all countries. So I'm just taking it back to the beginning where I've got my publication type in all countries, because these represent all countries, all types of information. And the one I want you to be aware of is companies and organizations. I'm going to click on companies and organizations, and this will allow you to see the different resources we have for company information. So if I want to see mergers and acquisitions reports, what publications we have for mergers and acquisitions, this will allow me to see the sources that we have available. If I want to see my wonderful company analyst reports, and this will allow us to see all the different types of documents we have, all the different types of publications we have available. And what's nice is that you can pick and choose as many publications that you, the researcher, would like to search at once. And as I am tagging, the system is keeping track over here on the right. And now I'm going to click on my OK Continue. And once I click on the OK Continue, the system's going to bring me to my Power Search form. And what's nice about the Power Search form is I have the capability to do terms and connector searching or natural language searching. One of the great things about LexisNexis is we give you the capability to do full text keyword searching, but we also give you the capability to do segment searching, field searching. So down where it reads, select a segment, I will see all the different segments that I have available. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select industry. In the term box, I'm going to type in sports. I'm going to click on my add to search. And just so you know, in terms of date, I can search all available dates. I can do a date is, date before, date after. But what I'm going to say is I'm going to select the previous year and click on my search. Let me edit. I'm going to go for all available dates. Click on my search. And here I will see those reports. With the industry being sport. Thank you. This is the end of this presentation.